What up, family? It's 4-20 Mary Lee. It's 6:26 a.m. in my city, Chicago. Wonderful, wicked Wednesday, October 8th, 2025. 100% on my phone. 100%. All right. They say it's not what you know, who you know is what you can prove. Now, when I was in this program called Vision Quest, they pretty much lied to me to get me in there. This caseworker that I had from, a social service by the name of Anise. She told me my first flight on a plane, when I was about 16 years old. She said, if you don't like it, Franklin, Pennsylvania is where we was going, and the place was Vision Quest, for teenagers with so-called dysfunctional problems or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Behavioral problems, to put it like that. Or they had no place to go, or whatever the case. They tried to toughen them up. It was like boot camp, if you ask me. Real tough, in the army or something. And she said, if you don't like it, you can go back on the plane with me, right? So we get into some room, well, nothing but guys, right? Real tough. I turn around, I noticed she was gone, and of course I snapped. You understand what I'm saying? And they restrained me, and one guy by the name of Robert, he was a black guy, the rest of them was white. Felt like he was gonna break my arm and stuff. For real tough. I was kidnapped, nigga, I ain't gonna lie. Alright, so this video going out to Feather Fist. And the receptionist at the front by the name of Lanicia, whatever her name, I can't announce it or whatever her name is and stuff. You know your name. I went on the 6th of October this year, 2025. At least that's what they said. You know what I'm saying? And I got there at 1:10. Now everybody know 10 City is my city, Chicago. That's, if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. And I didn't even program the song that I was listening to. Here comes Santa Claus, here comes Santa Claus. And there was some old ladies outside. And I know they heard it, right? Now, for some reason, people want me to go off like, so they can wrap up this little story and make it, nice and tidy for them and stuff. Ain't no honor amongst thieves. And if y'all stealing from me and my higher power, then, I got to speak up for real. So I don't know what's going on at the office at Feather Fist, but I know that's my story. You understand what I'm saying? My business that people have invaded and taken over and stuff. But my so-called case manager, Steve, he was there. He could have opened up the door. He ain't opened up the door. It was 3 guys, filling out applications or whatever. Didn't look like they was homeless. Didn't look like they needed the help. None of that. And Lanicia, whatever her name is, the receptionist, gave me the, like, wait a minute. You know what I mean? Signal or whatever and stuff. And they usually let me in, no problem. But this time, and because they knew I got their own time, 1:10, and all I wanted to do was sign in and leave like I always do. Hating. She hating. See, I asked her questions just to see, where her mind was at. Because I noticed one time that, Stacy wasn't there or whatever. I said, she ain't never there yet. They ought to make, I'm just trying to pick her brain, right? Lanicia, the receptionist or whatever. I said, she never there. They ought to make you the boss or whatever and stuff. And she was like, I wish somebody would tell somebody. You know what I'm saying? First of all, if she wasn't hating on Stacy, she would have never said that. She would have just been like, you know what I mean? She just not here today. You the receptionist. You supposed to, you know what I mean? But she didn't say that. She said it like, she wanted to take Stacy's place for real. You know what I'm saying? See, I'm very good at what I do. But for some reason, people look at me like I'm stupid and stuff. You understand? But I'm not. Long story short, it's always the ones closest to you, Stacy. You need to watch your motherfucking goddamn company and stuff, because all they wanted you to do was, teach them the ropes and stuff. Real tough. You understand? That's all they wanted us to do. That's why I always tell people, if I tell you, I gotta kill you. You understand what I'm saying? Because it ain't none of your fucking business and stuff. That's why y'all should have just stood up. But y'all was hating on me and stuff. And now, I had to pretty much tell my business just so I could see who loyal and who ain't. But see, I don't know if Stacy was there on the 6th, but I know who came to that fucking door. That was motherfucking Steve and you know, the whatever her name is, the receptionist, you know, waving me off like she running some shit and embarrassing me in front of the 3 guys and stuff. That was embarrassing. You got a little girl and stuff. I'm fighting for, you know, your motherfucking children as well as my motherfucking people in America and stuff. And when y'all swapped out them goldfishes, you understand what I'm saying, and put in them African tiger fishes, let me know. You understand what I'm saying? And the person that people see the most is the one they gonna so-called, you know, respect. I used to have a business, and this African, you know, it was this game he bought from me or whatever, had a bunch of games on it and stuff, old school game, cost about $40, right? And I signed off on it after I showed him that it worked. Real talking, I had a worker at the time, you know, understand what I'm saying? And you know, dude come back talking about, you know, after about a week or so, talking about the game don't work. I said, man, it was brand new when I gave it to you. I signed off on the receipt and I showed you that it worked. Real talk. Now, whatever happened between the time you left and came back a week or two later, that's not my business. So they made a big stink out of it. You know why? Because the worker I had wasn't on the up and up, first and foremost. D, you understand what I'm saying? And they used her to, you know, get me to, I had to go pretty much to lock up for about a few hours and stuff because they wanted to see what was going on, what they could sell. See, they don't know what to sell and stuff. They not originals. You understand what I'm saying? They come to my motherfucking goddamn city, my continent, America, and they need to know how to, you know, sell. You know, they don't know what to do without originals and stuff. So they needed me out the way, and they knew D was working on their side and stuff. And I knew she wasn't nothing either. You understand what I'm saying? But sometimes you just got to play the hand God give you and shit. I said all that to say this. When I was in Vision Quest, this lady, white lady, told me that I reminded her of a turtle. I just got through reading this book, When Turtles Come to Town. Now I turn to page 20. And right here it's got May and August. Look real close. I was born May 25th. My mother was born in August. Well, motherfucker talk, but this the kicker part. It says May to August to lay their eggs almost always at night. 5 of the world's 7 species of sea turtles are found off Florida coast. Now, the 5 and the 7 coming from behind, that's 75. I'm originated rapping since the age 8, 1975. Now, if you go to Ezekiel chapter 20, you will see Obama's name. All you got to do is switch some stuff around, and you know that's his name and stuff. See, books, movies are corrupt. Suicide is way up. And they say if you want to keep something from a nigga, you just put it in the book. They also said, you know, Americans are first in prison and last in education. Why? Because they never wanted us to have an education. Why? Because they, you know, using the educational system to get over on us and stuff. So they want us to be slaves to build up their stuff. And then once we figure it out, you understand what I'm saying? Then what? You a slave. Because now you got to figure out how to get out of some of y'all put yourselves in when all you had to do was stand up. So I got this animal of the Bible book. It's the children's book for the receptionists and stuff, you know. Because they say who going to be in charge of the animal kingdom? Because, you know, people acting like animals. And animals are acting like people. So let's see what page this one on. This is on page 60 and 61. So more about horses. You see the crown, the king, and you see the crown coming off the king. Real talk. Now, when I was at Vision Quest, I had to work in the horses stable or whatever and stuff to clean up all that mess and stuff. This is how they was humiliating me. Real talk. They would have me, you know, I was the only one doing it and stuff. You know, they was just, you know, trying to get me to snap or whatever the case may be. And I was on my way home, you know, from just becoming the first girl head teamster of the program. I should have became the first girl head scout, but they didn't want me to have it. But, you know, I accepted, you know, first girl head teamster of the Vision Quest program. Long story short, I ended up cleaning up a bunch of mess. Horse. You know what I mean? And y'all can't even pick up the trash. Every time I turn around, they throwing trash on the ground in my city, Chicago. But they using my money and resources and turning my city, Chicago, into a devil's playground and stuff. You understand what I'm saying? Thinking it's cute to, crap in my face. And I'm like, the crown is coming off. Real talk. It's on right now, but it's coming off. For real. Let's get the real Bible, though. This is the New World Translation, the Jehovah's Witness Bible. This is Psalms chapter 131, 132, 133, 134, 135. Now, I don't know what it say, but I know this just flipped to Psalms chapter 17, 18, 19. We're going to do 20 and 21. And you see what this say? Stop robbing the cradle. Then I got Jay-Z. Stop robbing my babies. Real talk. So we're going to do 17 through 21. Psalms chapter 17 through 21. Real talk. So I done caught you. Y'all wanted to be that book of clearance. You wanted to be that right now. You don't want to work for it. You understand what I'm saying? Because, if you work for it, it's going to take time like it took me 52 years. And me flipping this Bible was the spirit to Psalms chapter 17. I wasn't even trying to. It just kind of, because God going to always look out for me. So the receptionist, you didn't open up the door at 110. Real talk, I would have opened up the door. No test, no testimony for real. And Stacy, be careful. I'm telling you, I keep trying to tell you. You know what I mean? God ain't going to put more on you than you can bear. You said it's too much pressure. Come on, man. What kind of pressure you think on me, though? For real. God sent me to help you. It's 6:38. Today the 8th. I come from behind to get mine. Going all the way to 6:39. It's the 12. Jesus had 12 disciples. Maybe all of them was girls. You ever thought about that? This is a white ball. We're not dying without them. So y'all can do what you want to do and stuff. For real. I'm not going without them. This the 6th. Now, I told you I need double for my troubles. All I wanted to do was sign in on time. That's it. But you messing up my motherfucking story. So I'm going to fuck up your shit. It's the 13th. It's 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. I got railroaded May 31st, 2008. And if you think the bombs won't drop again, nigga, got me fucked up. 6:39. And you keep fucking playing with me and my motherfucking story, I swear to God. All them continents, just like the Merry Christmas haters fucking goddamn video I did, will come true. Step your game up. 6:40. Hold on. 10 city, my city, Chicago. Peace.